Soon after, Rajam caught typhoid and became bedridden.
சீக்கிரமாக சரியாயிடும்.
He treated his wife as if she is still alive. That's how he was able to contact her spiritually.
The death of his wife Rajam in 1939. It sent him into a period of darkness lasting some years, where the remarkable thing is, it's not that he didn't write. During this period also he wrote for the Hindu. He wrote his pieces, but a novel took some time coming, and the English teacher is the final the outcome of that, the end of the period of darkness. Remarkably creative work. That was the first. He then went into a psychic period. He kept a journal, which is remarkable. Parallel between that and the English teacher is remarkable. And then he went to a medium, automatic writing and all that, but he overcame it and hardly ever referred to it again. He said he had come to terms with this loss.
Narayan wouldn't write a line. Nothing stimulated him. No curiosity, no interest in people or his surroundings. His wife's demise also opened certain psychic explorations for Narayanan, who was reportedly able to communicate with the departed soul.
എഴുതുങ്കോ.
Do I resemble Mr. R.K. Narayan?
Of course, 10% resemblance difficult to get because of that's the period. Even the youngsters look different about 70 years ago, 80 years ago. That is acceptable. We cannot just produce 10% appearance. Only thing is you're little tall. Otherwise, the features are all okay.
R.K. Narayan himself was a wonderful subject for photography. His face had a sense of sarcastic curiosity looking at people and all. His eyes reflected curiosity, and his face reflected joy also. He was very fond of laughing, very fond of smiling, with a big guffaw, and he had a very sharp nose and curly hair, which are epitomized in some of the early photographs people have taken of him. As a photographer, right from the beginning, I found that he was camera shy. He never allowed me to take too many pictures of himself. He said, that's enough, that's enough, that's enough. Nor was I interested in his photograph. I didn't know that he would one day become a great man and I should document his life from the... I wish I had done that. But the pictures that I did on my own were very few, showing him with members of his family, playing with his grandchildren, playing cricket, for example, in the backyard with his nephews and niece. Probably I am the only person who has photographed him writing. I photographed him in a small room in Lakshmipuram when he was writing a novel. My passion in photography is to record the lives of the common people who hit no headlines but who matter. People like you and me, simple people who inhabit our country. He could be a student, he could be a teacher, he could be a housewife, he could be a laborer, he could be a literator, he could be a lawyer, he could be a clerk, he could be a vendor of sweets, a vendor of fruits and vegetables, anybody for that matter interested. And there was a similar sentiment R.K. Narayan also shared, because he was also interested in the life around him.
He's got a very high sense of humor. And Narayan used to see the ridiculous aspect of anything, whether it's serious or even light. His angle is different. He never used to take life very seriously. He never did it. In fact, he is sort of a ubiquitous observer of life of everybody.
Everything was a story, yes, or that, as you said, life of common people, ordinary incidents. Naipaul has commented on it, what it is all about, how he always kept within an area he knew, he defined it. That's a very difficult art, literary art. You can write about the whole world and great things, but to write about specific, in a narrow, in a limited space, and yet to address larger issues without philosophizing openly is really the greatest literary art. But anything on the streets, anything on the road, anything amidst ordinary life would give him story ideas, and he could link up with it as a creative writer.
Narayanan weaved a world existing nowhere. His books appeal in a quiet, reassuring way. Malgudi, the colonial district town with its post office, bank, middle class suburb, small roadside shops, low caste slums, missionary school, government bungalows, the railway station, Ishwar temple, Jagan's sweet meat shop, Kabir circle, Taluk house, police station, all striking a chord of perfect reality with readers across the world. The stories, while recreating Madras of Narayanan's childhood and the Mysore of his later years, transport the reader to this make-believe world, be it of the British Raj or post-independent India. He wrote about people in small town in South India. Small people, big talk, small doings. That was where he began. That was where he was 50 years later. Narayanan was given Sahitya Akademi Award in 1958 for his novel The Guide. In 1964, he received Padma Bhushan for his distinguished service to literature. In 1980, he was given the A.C. Benson Award by the Royal Society of Literature. The Mysore University conferred on him the honorary doctorate. He was also nominated as member of Rajya Sabha.
Narayan developed some heart problem in Mysore, and the Dr. T.J. Cherian was here. He asked him to come over to Madras and be in constant touch with him. We shifted over here.
R.K. Narayanan passed away on May 13, 2001. Malgudi lives on, and so does his writings.
The last days, we kept a close watch on him, and when I was away, I think there was some bleeding and he was sent in, and just shortly before he was to go on a ventilator because the doctors had diagnosed a problem. Suddenly he said, I want to write about this. His grandfather, who he said had made money, had acquired wealth beyond his legitimate income. He was a petty official, so how did he acquire all this and so on, and he wanted to write about it, and he was in the he loved beautifully bound notebooks. It was a pleasure for him to get it, and then he'd start writing. If he didn't get that, he would use old diaries. So he asked me to get diaries and said, please don't waste a new diary. He used to get lots of diaries. Which year? Get me an old diary of former years. And I want to write. And then he told my wife, Mariam, that the story is forming in my mind. And started narrating it. And in fact, I had to move away because the doctor said he shouldn't exert himself. So he kept asking, where is he? And that was the last time he was able to speak, although he survived for some more days. This was really remarkable. He wanted to write a novel on his grandfather, just as he had written on the grandmother's tale.